Hey folks, how you doing? This is Wayne S. Pierce for the American Liberty Radio Network. How are you? Are you good? Are you happening? Yeah. 3 shootings in one day. Travis Air Force Base, apparently. San Francisco at a UPS outlet. And, of course, Alexandria, Virginia. This is American Liberty Radio Network. This is the 15th of June, 2017. I am your host right here, Wayne S. Pierce. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, whatever, you want to tell me, you can go to American Liberty Radio Podcast on Facebook. Drop me a note there, or you can email me at AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. Now, I'm not one to belabor an issue. I'm not one to keep pushing a narrative. But I'm going to say this, as I've said on the American Liberty Radio podcast page. I have 2 pictures up there. Far left liberal progressive extremism. Need I say more? That's just what they want. That's what they want. Okay? Now, when you have a group of people who do not want peace, freedom, liberty, and security for the nation, they're completely open borders, they're completely fascist, they're completely socialist, they're on the border of complete communism. You're going to have violence against anyone that wants peace, freedom, liberty, and security. This is the key issue with the Democrats. This is the key issue, or the key engagement point, if you will. The issues are simple. The issues that the far-left, liberal, progressive extremists want is this: complete and total enslavement of the population. That's what they want. They want to completely collapse the United States of America, which they're on the verge of doing economically. And they want to enslave each and every single one of us in some form or fashion, through fees, through licensing, through higher taxes in certain areas, you name it. If they can't enslave us, their ideal concept for America is making us live in such squalor that we cannot afford to get out of it, to go elsewhere, to make our lives better. That's pretty much the bottom line. That's what they want. Do you know what the opposite of that is? Freedom, peace, security, liberty, innovation, growth, economic growth, to where you and I can make a decent, fair market living wage to go out and do the things that we want to do, or live wherever we want to live. We are living in a part of history that we'll look back 20 years from now and say, why the hell did people not get up out of their seats and go take care of business? Why? Why didn't they do this? Why didn't they take care of what had to be taken care of? Okay? Why? It truly truly disgusts me to see people literally turning their backs on this country. It does. It irritates the crap out of me. It's disgusting. Makes me want to puke on your damn shoes because you're pathetic. Anyone that I've talked to a great many people over the years. I have talked to a great many people over the years. And I've come to find out a few things. Okay? I've come to find out a few things. And it wasn't easy to accept. It wasn't easy to It wasn't easy to accept. It was literally a time where I was, lost in the political minefield. Lost in the political minefield, and where I wound up was in complete safety of being apart from either party. And when I started talking to people, when I started looking out and saying, okay, what about this? What about that? You know, I'm looking here, I'm looking there. I found out that everything I learned up to that point about both parties was absolutely 100% correct. There wasn't a moment that I was not, I'm not going to lie. There wasn't a moment in my life when I got to that aha moment that I was so euphoric that I felt I was vindicated. And it literally was at a point when nothing else in the world at that point seemed sane. Okay? Nothing. All right? It was just incredible. And when I stepped forward as nonpartisan, when I stepped forward as independent, I just could not. I wasn't going to hold back. I wasn't going to hold back. I knew what I needed to do, and I did it. I knew what I needed to say, and I said it, and I knew how it was going to look. So to dovetail all of that into the 15th of June 2017, everything I've known for the last 40 years of my research into geopolitical systems, cultures, ideologies, philosophies, let me tell you something. I feel very vindicated. I feel very good. Because I feel this way because everything that I've known, everything that I've told you folks in the last 7 years that I've been broadcasting, everything that I've seen since Carter was president, everything that I've seen points to one or two or maybe a handful of things in the political arena with both parties. And that is, I was right all along. I was right all along. There's no doubt anymore. No doubt. And I find it incredibly odd, and odd in the sense of, why didn't people themselves see this? That, to me, that's odd. I mean, it's out there. It's in your face. It's what it is. But it's amazing to me that people they don't see it. Oh, and I know why. They just don't want to. That's the answer. They don't want to see it. They don't care to see it. Why? And like I said on my Facebook page, let me go there and I'll tell you. As I said on my Facebook page, I post my views because I can, and I encourage you to listen, learn, and research everything I'm talking about. Some of my friends would rather sit with the curtains closed and the television on and not engage in and with life. Have you seen The Pedestrian? It's called The Pedestrian on YouTube. Go check that out. I don't want to see or hear anything bad because I don't want it ruining my day. Or, that's your truth and your facts, and I will see things my way. How's that last one working out for you, huh? And your day is already freaking ruined. Get a damn clue and understand you're being shit on by those who you think you voted into office. That's what I said on my Facebook page. I want people to know that I'm not angry. Nah, not angry. Not angry at all. I want people to know that it isn't it isn't that I hate anyone. I chuckle because I have a feeling that people don't like me too much. Excuse me. It's not that I go out of my way to piss people off. It's not. It's not that I spend time conceiving of things that I could just, use. I was going to use another word, but it's not that I come up with these ideas to use against people because I hate them or they're different or they have a differing opinion or I don't like them or whatever. No. Let me give you a little behind the scenes baseball here about what is going on in my mind in some areas for this purpose. First of all, I take and I look at everything and I say, interesting, and I check it out. Then I look at the people who are opposite of my ideologies, of my political beliefs, of my social beliefs, and how much of an impact, that concept is on people in society. And I can imagine the opposition at that point saying, well, you don't know, and it's not the way you think, and all this, that, and the other thing. But in reality, it's a lot worse than that. And the Democratic Socialist and the Republican Fascist and they're all part of a progressive party, and those hanger-ons that are there, they're the ones who are pissed off at the fact that myself and many others in the independent media are blowing their ideologies and their concepts completely out of the water because we're telling the truth with the facts. Have people somewhat sold out their values in the independent movement? I would say yes. But I think that's very rare. Have people in the independent alternative media been compromised? Oh, I'm sure they have. But it's very rare. So my whole point of my introduction here, and it's longer than I expected it would be, but I had a lot on my mind, so pardon me for the lengthy opening. I look at people and I examine just by what they say. I examine their way of doing things in a very quick but very efficient manner. And I realized many years ago, decades in fact, that people pretty much are going to lie through their teeth to get what they want. But they're also going to tell the truth to get what they want. In that alone, you can see, just in that alone, I saw that the people telling the truth with the facts that they could use to back up what they're saying were right all along. And everybody else who lied to get their way, who did this, who deceived and spread disinformation and all that, they're no longer around. And if they are, they're in a very, very small capacity. I used the platform of Spreaker.com, and there were a few shows that I used to listen to, and actually I was a guest on one of them many years ago, and they're no longer around. Why? Because they thought that bashing people was entertainment. So I decided, as I was putting American Liberty Radio Network together, revamping Free America Radio into American Liberty Radio Network, that I'm going to take the advice my mama gave me many, many moons ago, and that is, if you're going to talk about something, you better know what you're talking about. Bottom line. Bottom line. So in that, I give you the articles, I read some of them to you, I do that, but see, I don't sit there and intellectually throw you on the ground and put your arm behind your head and say you're going to believe this. What I encourage you to do, is I'd like you to take it and go out and look this stuff up on your own. And then tell me what you think, because, I may have overlooked something, and I have a varying perspective of what's going on. So your input is very valuable, because I'd like to know. Do I, say, well, this is it, and that's just the way I'm going to... No. No, because I may have overlooked something. Doesn't necessarily mean I'm wrong. It just means I've overlooked something. Let's take a look again. Let's go back. Let's take a look. And this is what I do, folks. This is what I do. I check stuff out. I read articles. If it sounds interesting, I read it. I read the headline. If the headline sounds interesting, I read the article. If the headline is something I've seen before but worded differently, well, then I pretty much know what the article is going to be about. Some people say, and I've had this question asked to me, when I post certain articles, have you read the article? And I'll be honest, sometimes I don't. Because, as I said, I see the headline, and I know the headline. It's worded differently. I've seen it before, like maybe 2 or 3 days before. And I know what the article is going to be like. Now, I've tested that on my own because I've seen, in the last several days, I've seen, with the shooting in Alexandria and all that, I've seen varying headlines saying the same thing, basically, from not only InfoWars, but from MSNBC, from CNN, from Breitbart, everywhere. But it's basically the same story, just worded differently. And then, of course, you have, CNN and all those, saying that it's the right-wing Republicans who have caused this and Trump's the head of them, so he's the cause of all this violence. So I've seen that as well. So as far as I'm concerned, and as far as I know, you folks out there want literal truth backed up by facts, but you want somebody honest. You want somebody that's going to rip the door open, or as I like to say, pull the veil away and see who's behind the curtain, pushing the buttons and pulling the handles. That's exactly what I'm doing. It's exactly what I'm doing. And if you're sitting there bummed out that I'm telling the truth, or you're pissed off that I'm telling the truth, then you got some sort of mental disorder that you need to have checked out. Because, as some of my liberal friends tell me, and even some of my independent friends tell me, well, that's your truth and that's your facts. Really? Hold up 2 fingers. Okay, count them. 1, 2, right? Now, take one of those fingers away and say this. 1 plus, and then put up the other finger. 1 equals what? Count those. Okay, it's that simple. 1 plus 1 equals 2, folks. In the last several weeks, I've been pondering some ideas and want to bring to American Liberty Radio Network. And I thought the first thing off the list, or the first thing on the top of the list, is this, and that is truth, facts, and no BS. Now, I told you I'm revamping the network. So whatever you can do to help me remodel around here, get better equipment, that would be awesome. You guys rock. Go to AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. Go to the sponsors page, and everything is right there that you need to know. And become a patron. Drop $1 in the kitty and help us remodel the place around here and give you better options for the truth, for the facts, with no BS. That's one of the things I thought about. The other thing I thought about was bringing guests on. Now, I got a little technical issue with that because, well, how I have to set that up, I'm not able to at this point. So, that's on the back burner. Okay. I can manage to do it old school, but I got to find a way to make it happen real soon, because the third thing I thought about was, for American Liberty Radio Network, was a show, and you can probably hear a prelude of what this show would be about and would be like. And that would be a show hosted live once a week by myself and by Nick Tucker from Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker. And we would discuss the issues of that moment, of that day, of that week. And we would give you our opinions of what we see. And of course, I myself personally, as I say before, please go out and check this stuff out on your own. All the information I give you. But that's the third that's the third idea that I was thinking about, was making a show like that. But again, I have tech issues and I can't have people call in because it's not set up. The other thing I was thinking about was, in the last several weeks, actually in this past week, was the fact that how can people not see what the hell's going on? How can people not see the violence in the streets of America because Donald Trump is president? He didn't cause it. Those morons out there throwing Molotov cocktails and beating people up and, holding signs and kicking in windows, those are the morons that are freaking pissed off at the fact that there's now somebody in the White House who's going to do the right thing and, tear down the facade and tear down the whole system that Obama put up, and he's going to make America great again. These morons out there protesting are freaking idiots. The guy that did the Alexandria shooting yesterday was a freaking Bernie anti-Trump supporter. He was a Bernie supporter. He was anti-Trump. He was just he was a mess. And let me tell you exactly where this comes from. This whole idea comes from of being anti-American, anti-Trump, what's right, and building up. Let me tell you exactly where that comes from. It comes from your governmental indoctrination institutes. For many, many, many years, people have been indoctrinated with leftist ideals. I don't want to hear it anymore. That's the way it is. You want proof? Okay, I'll give you proof. Charlotte Iserby, deliberate dumbing down of America. She was second in command in the Department of Education under Ronald Reagan. I don't want to hear it anymore. There's your proof. Go read it. Well, you're just going to have to show me more because I don't believe it. For people who say that to me, I got an idea. Here, imagine this for a minute. You're in a room with me. Imagine you're in a room with me and you say that to my face. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put my hand on your back and say you're, a really good person. I understand that. I understand that you have a heart for America. That's okay. And as I'm saying that, I'm going to move you to the door. And I'm going to open the door, and I'm going to look at you and go, but you're still a dumbass. And I'm going to shove you out in the hallway and close the door. Okay? I've had debates with people who were well-versed in political science, as I was. Well-versed. Well, they knew more than I did, is what I'm saying. But when I put the truth on the table, when I laid out the information that I had at the time, and this was, 15, 20 years ago, when Clinton was president, it got to the point where I began to get so frustrated at the other person's ignorance that I just picked up my stuff and walked out. I just picked up my stuff and walked away. Why? Because I can't get through to these morons. And anybody that says, well, I need more proof than that, than a book. I'm not going to read a book. I want to. You know what? You want it in your face? Let me show you what your political philosophies on the far left are doing to America. Yesterday, Alexandria, Virginia, a shooting. Yesterday, at a UPS station in San Francisco. Yesterday, Travis Air Force Base, there was a shooting there or something, an alleged shooting. I don't have all the details. Violence in the streets because of your stupid political far left leaning philosophies. You want proof? How about opening your damn eyes and see what's going on? This is why it frustrates me to see that people are not seeing what is right out in front of them. And it tears me apart inside to know that America is dying because these freaking morons want free stuff. They want free college. They want open borders. They want free health care. Hey, who's paying for that, jackass? Me. Numb nuts? And all the other taxpayers that work hard to put food on their table and take care of their family. They're paying for your bull crap. So why don't you just shut the hell up and go get a damn job, moron? You're a freaking idiot. I'll be back right after this.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations.
This would be the time because you really need to bring China into the creation of a new world order.
In order to ensure the security and continuing stability, the Republic will be reorganized into the first galactic empire for a safe and secure society.
So this is how liberty dies. With thunderous applause.
This is American Liberty Radio Network. I am your host, Wayne S. Pierce. It's the 15th of June, 2017. Yes. Fun. Got more stuff on the way. Sit tight. I'll be right back.
Even now, in this very room, you can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind. Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Pursuing the truth with a vengeance. American Liberty Radio Network. AmericanLibertyRadio.com. Hey folks, welcome back. This is the American Liberty Radio Network, American Liberty Radio Network podcast, right here on the 15th of June, 2017. How are you? Are you good? Now, I know I'm harsh. I understand. stand that? My goodness. I know this, right? I know this. I know this to be true. I know that I get up in people's faces. I know that I am as blunt as hell. And let me tell you something. I don't care. Not that I am going, not that my actions are ever going to change anybody else's mind. That's not going to happen. I know that. But I know that my actions speak louder than the articles, than the words in the articles that I use, that I talk about, that I discuss, that I look at. I know this. I know I'm harsh. But let me fill in the blanks for you, shall I? No, I will. Let me fill in the blanks for you. I'm not all that bad. I'm independent. I'm nonpartisan. I don't really care about political parties. I believe political parties need to be abolished. I believe that borders need to be secure. I believe that America can be great again with the people that want peace, freedom, liberty, and security, and everybody else can get the hell out. That's what I believe. Oh, you believe in isolationism. No, I don't. I believe in justice. I believe in the American way. I believe that we can stand on our own 2 feet, look at the opposition, and, by the way, we can also kick their freaking ass and tell them, you got 2 choices. Either you can knock your crap off and we can all get along, or you can pack your crap and get the hell out of the country. That's me. And that might be a little harsh. Okay? There's a lot more that I believe. I believe we need to stop funding terrorist organizations. Yes, we do that. It's on record. It is happening today. We need to stop that. We need to stop funding all these other countries that, play the part of our friends. We need to sit down with Russia and China and we need to go, you know what, we can blow each other off the map. How about we just live in peace for once? I believe sitting down with representatives from Iraq and Saudi Arabia and all these Middle Eastern countries and saying, yeah, we're getting out of OPEC and we're not going to buy your oil anymore. So because we have enough on our own land to take care of ourselves for hundreds of years. So, go piss off. I believe in looking at the commerce, the global commerce, not just regional, countrywide. No, I'm talking global commerce. All the trade agreements we have out there. And I would look at those. Here's what I believe. Look at those countries and ask yourself, how much impact financially are they making on our country? In other words, we're not charging them for stuff. And if we are, it's so minute, it's not even helping. So we're going to tell them, you want to sell stuff here, you're going to pay the taxes. That's just the way it is. You want stuff shipped here to the United States to sell to, help support your country, you're going to pay you're going to pay. We're not going to put up with your crap anymore. You're going to pay. We want quality merchandise at a very low price. And when you glut the market, and I use that term for a reason, when you glut the market with product, prices go down. This is why the Commerce Department and the global treaties that they have already have built-in restrictions that cost very little for them, but a hell of a lot more for us. That's why everything's so damn expensive in the U.S. Go look at it. You don't think I'm telling you the truth? Go look at it. Go examine it. I'll wait. You can pause me right now and go look this stuff up. I know. Go ahead. But anyway, let's get on to something else. I spent time yapping away here. So, Paul Joseph Watson, Infowars.com, 15th of June, 2017. Thank you there, Mr. Paul Joseph Watson. Huffington Post writer Moles, quote, organized violent resistance, unquote, after shooting of congressman, quote, unquote, individual acts understandable but ineffective. Hold on. Huffington Post writer Jesse Benn responded to the attempted massacre of Republican lawmakers yesterday by mulling over how, quote, violent resistance, unquote, needs to be more, quote, unquote, organized in order to, quote, unquote, work. Quote, for violent resistance to work, it need to be organized. Individual acts can be understandable but likely counterproductive and ineffective, unquote, tweeted Ben, who describes himself as a, quote, member of the intolerant left, unquote. After his tweet received negative attention, Ben subsequently claimed that his statement had nothing to do with the attempted massacre at Alexandria, a ludicrous assertion given the context of what happened yesterday. Ben's reference to individual acts being understandable was clearly a reference to shooter James T. Hodgkinson's attempt to gun down Republicans. Quote, HuffPost writer's main beef with today's attempted mass murder of Republicans is that it was poorly organized, unquote, responded Federalist co-founder Sean Davis. Last June, Ben wrote a piece for the Huffington Post in which he called Donald Trump a fascist and said a, quote, unquote, violent response to Trump was, quote, unquote, logical. The writer, who was last published by the Huffington Post in December of 2016, also advocates, quote-unquote, class war in his Twitter bio. In other tweets, he sarcastically responds to people who argued that change can happen without violence. In a related development, the Huffington Post deleted an article from its website first published on Saturday that called for Donald Trump to be executed. Contributor Jason Fuller wrote that impeachment was not enough to, quote, drain the swamp, unquote, and that Trump must face, quote, the ultimate punishment, unquote. An added irony is that Fuller describes himself as being against bullying and extremism despite using extremist rhetoric throughout the article. As we document in a video, there's a video associated with this, the left has legitimized violence since before the election of Donald Trump, radicalizing unhinged crazies like gunman James T. Hodgkinson to act on violent rhetoric. Yeah, there you go. CNN reported they had a guest on that said, yeah, Hodgkinson did this because he was sick and tired of politics. Yeah. Yeah. I laugh in the face of ignorance on the part of the left because you are a bunch of dumbasses, okay? You are a bunch of dumb asses, okay? Dumb. I scrape stuff off the bottom of my shoe that has more intelligence. Steve Watson, the brother of Paul Joseph Watson, Infowars.com, 15th of June 2017, GOP and MSNBC, quote, Trump partially the blame, unquote, for shooting. Morning Joe hosts blame heated rhetoric, fake news, and conspiracy theorists. I'm not even going to read that because I want you to read that because I want you to assess that for yourself. I'm at the point now, and I have been for quite some time, I'm at the point now where I am just sick and tired of just these liberal, fascist, extremist, democratic, socialist, Marxist, communist morons out there that have absolutely no brains whatsoever to think with. It's a wonder they can even tie their shoes. I'm gotten to the point where I'm just simply done with them. I know I said that before, but I am done with them. Am I going to take sides? I've already taken a side. The side of the United States of America, not the side of a political party. So what's that going to do? What's that going to do? What am I going to do in this setting what am I going to do in this setting where people cannot even get along and sit down and discuss things without getting emotionally riled up or pissed off and want to choke the living crap out of the person across the table? How are we going to get to that point where we can just sit down and have a decent discussion with people? I can tell you right now, it's totally impossible in the current environment in which we live. Maybe on rare occasions. I mean, I'm talking extremely rare, like 0.0001% rare. I mean, yeah. I don't understand why, again, I'm going to say this, I don't understand why people don't see what is right out in front of them. I don't get it. I don't understand it. But you may want to go look at the little short movie. It's not a movie. It's from a television program from, I think, the 90s or something. And it's called, it's a story. It's a prelude, actually. I think it was a short story by Ray Bradbury. And it was called The Pedestrian. And it's a short 21-minute, episode. And you can find it on YouTube. And it simply, in a very basic way, shows you exactly what people are doing today. Just sitting in their room with the curtains closed, watching TV. I mean, very basic. I mean, you got to go look at it because there's a lot of little subtle messages in this that you got to pay attention to. I've seen it several times, and it's so. So let me, I'm going to get on with it here. God, I keep yakking away. This is why I need a 2-hour show instead of a 1. As a matter of fact, I may go in to a little bit of overdrive today because I've yacked so much in the beginning. I want to get to some of these stories. Max Lavo, SHTFplan.com. You know what SHTF means, right? SHTFplan.com, Max Lavo. FBI, Coast Guard, and hazmat teams deployed in search for radioactive, quote-unquote, dirty bomb. Emergency service units responded to the threat of a radioactive dirty bomb in Charleston, South Carolina, Wednesday night. That was yesterday. Emergencies, let me look here. The U.S. Coast Guard, Federal Bureau of Investigation, local police, and hazardous materials teams were reportedly searching for an explosive device, possibly containing radioactive material, that may have been smuggled onto the Marks, is it Marks? M-A-E-R-S-K? Marks? I don't know. Memphis. A container ship currently moored in Charleston Wando Terminal. Official GPS tracking data for the vessel confirms that it currently is docked just miles outside of downtown Charleston, though no additional information about the dirty bomb has been made available by officials at this time. Such a device detonated in a high population density area like Charleston could spew a deadly radioactive substance into the air, potentially leading to thousands of deaths and significant environmental damage to the fallout area. This was Max Flavo, 15th June 2017. So I'm going to put this on American Liberty Radio Podcast for you guys to take a look at. Let's take a look at, and I'm going to go here, not just Infowars.com. Let's go over here to, and I like going over here because it gives me a varying perspective, and I like that. Get this. Putin says, Russia ready to grant asylum to former FBI Director James Comey. Do you understand how that works? Oops, dropped my phone. Sorry. I was moving it and I hit something and then I went to pick it up and I dropped it. Shouldn't have the phone here near me. Yeah, okay. Yeah, do you see how that works? Yeah. News. U.S. warships arrive in Qatar for drills days after Trump slams Doha as funder of terrorism. Wait a minute. Hold on. Trump slams them, and now U.S. warships are in Qatar for drills. Yeah. Yeah. Just wait a few weeks. It'll be a full-blown war. Okay. I don't know. In the UK, we have politicians warned several times about cladding fire risk in London Tower. Blogger gagged by council after warning about Grenfell Tower fire threat. There you go. There's no free speech in England. The Magna Carta signed in 1215. I mean, that gave everybody the freedom to, the freedom of speech, basically. That's the Magna Carta. It's some of that that is in there. Some of the ideas and all that's in the Magna Carta are in the Bill of Rights. Go look it up. Yeah, so there you go. In America, nearly 200 Democrats sued Trump for accepting foreign payments through businesses. Excuse me? How about investigating these 200 Democrats about their contributions that are made to their businesses here in the United States, huh? These people piss me off. Federal judge strikes down Dakota Access Pipeline permits, orders reassessment of risks. Well, that's good. Or bad, depending. Russia MOD, a Ministry of Defense, confirms U.S. deployment of long-range rocket launchers to Syria. This is what Russia confirms, that U.S. deployment of long-range rocket launchers in Syria. So there you go. Arms giant BAE sold powerful, massive surveillance equipment to oppressive regimes. Interesting. Wow. This is all on RT.com. Go check that out as well. Let me go to, I'm just telling you, where I'm getting this stuff, folks. You guys can go check this out yourself. That was RT.com. Going to Breitbart now. Trump rips obstruction of justice investigation and Twitter rant. Phony story, zero proof, single greatest witch hunt. Yes, that's what it is. Exactly, folks. I'm not kidding you. It's a massive witch hunt. That's it. It's just, that's... Now, let me go here. This is the definition of sweeping something under the rug. Rachel Maddow denies show had contact with the Virginia shooter. Segment does not re-air on show repeat. Jeff Poor, yesterday, 14th June 2017. Thank you, Jeff. Wednesday on MSNBC's The Rachel Maddow Show, host Rachel Maddow reacted to news that James Hodgkinson, the now deceased alleged shooter in an incident that has resulted in 5 people hospitalized, including House Majority Whip Steve Scalise, Republican of Louisiana, was a fan of her program. She's saying that the shooter was a fan of her program. Maddow referenced him in a letter to the referenced a letter he wrote to the editor that appeared in the July 29, 2012 edition of Bellevue News Democrat, but denied having received correspondence. Hodgkinson. There we go. He once submitted a letter to the editor that cited statistics about political donations that he says he heard on this show because he said he watched this TV show, she said. Rachel Maddow said this. She goes on to say, I should tell you, we went through our correspondence today as soon as we got his name, and as soon as we got the detail about him, we didn't find evidence he ever sent anything to this show or tried to contact us at all. Unquote. That's from Rachel Maddow. During the re-air of her program at 12 a.m. Eastern, the segment did not air. Instead, the opening segment was a replay of a May 26 segment about allegations of President Donald Trump and his associates having ties to the Russian government. Do you see how they spin that, folks? Do you see how they spin that? They sweep everything else under the rug, and then they bring back something else that, went from there. You know what I mean? It's piss poor journalism, and MSNBC is, as far as I'm concerned, at the top of the heap on that one. I'm just totally disgusted. Now, the mayor of Rome calls for a suspension of flow of migrants into the city. Thank goodness. Norwegian officials deny no-go zones in migrant suburb despite weeks of arson attacks on police. 3 times unemployment rate in native Swedes, migrants still take 8 out of 10 new jobs. See how they're infiltrating all these other countries? Threatened by Muslim migrant wave and low birth rates, Lebanon Christians fear Ramadan jihad. Well, they should, because, they need to stand up and do something right for a change. Report, CMT. In early talks to revive Tim Allen's sitcom Last Man Standing. CMT, of all places. That's good. It's awesome. Jordanian movie theater apologizes for screening Wonder Woman starring Israeli actress. What? Yeah. Gal Gadot, she's Israeli. Uh-huh. Didn't know that? Yeah, you know it now. Here, let me put this up there. This is on Breitbart, by the way. Congressional shooter had history of violence supporting liberal causes. So let me go put that on there on the American Liberty Radio podcast page on Facebook. I may go into overdrive. Hell, I may even go live in in the next hour. I don't know. I have no clue. I do want to say this because it's been eating at me for several days. And it's really part and parcel of this whole system of divide and conquer from the opposition to peace, freedom, liberty, and security for the nation. And it's this. People tend to gravitate to what is the basis of power, because they think that they can ride the coattails of the powerful to get what they want. That is the definition that I have for those against peace, freedom, liberty, and security in this nation. Now, if that's even close to being correct, I want you to let me know. American Liberty Radio podcast on Facebook, American Liberty Radio on Spreaker.com, or American Liberty Radio on Gab.ai, or Twitter me at RealWSPierce, at RealWSPierce. Send me a tweet, you twit. Let me know what you think. Folks, I'm just going to get out of here. There is a lot more to go look at and to go dig into, and I will present that to you tomorrow on another American Liberty Radio podcast. And, folks, you guys rock. Hey, this is American Liberty Radio Network, AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com, American Liberty Radio on Spreaker.com, sharing the truth one fact at a time without all the BS.